Hey everybody, let's see, the hole's right here. How you doing? It's George Carroll, and I wanted to do a quick video just talking about why you self-sabotage. Why do we find ourselves taking steps forward toward our goals, and then all of a sudden we start self-sabotaging? So before I get started with some of these concepts, I want to wait for a few people to jump on the line. Yeah, this is a football. This is something that I like playing with things. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I definitely have some of those like tendencies, and I like to fiddle with things, and this is one of the things that I fiddle with. What's up, Ann? Thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live. Good to see you. Love all the stuff that you're putting out there. Jed, what's up, Mr. Jed Stugart? Coach Stugart, good to see you, man. We're going to talk about the dynamics of self-sabotage. So if you find yourself taking a few steps forward and then all of a sudden you start self-sabotaging, you're going to want to pay attention to this live stream here. So we'll be about 10 minutes. What's up, Tara? Tara just signed up for Greatest Year of Your Life 2019, all the way from, I think, Florida. So looking forward to having you there, Tara. All right, guys. So what we're going to be talking about here in a moment is self-sabotage and the dynamics of it. And if you ever find yourself taking a couple of steps forward and a couple of steps back, and you're like, okay, I just can't seem to like break free or make progress. Thanks, Ann. I appreciate it, homegirl. If you ever find yourself making progress and then all of a sudden you start to do things or say things or start self-sabotaging in some way that like totally regresses your progress forward, you definitely want to tap into this quick live stream. So yeah, New York City. Okay, Tara, that's what I'm talking about. Mr. Kunta Duncan, how you doing, sir? Go Bears. Go Bears. So I played with Kunta at the University of Northern Colorado, and he was a beast. He was a beast. All right, guys, so we're going to be talking about the dynamics of self-sabotage, why we self-sabotage, at least one reason why. There's a lot of different reasons why, but this is one of the primary reasons why we self-sabotage, why we find ourselves taking a couple steps forward toward our goals and dreams, and then all of a sudden we start reverting back. We start kind of feeling like we're being pulled back or tugged back. And I'm going to show you inside of you what's tugging at you, what's pulling you back. Because we all have things that we want to create in our lives, right? We all have things that we want to accomplish, goals that we want to accomplish. What's up, Samson? We all have goals that we want to accomplish. And the thing is that as we start taking steps forward, if we have any of this self-sabotaging dynamic that I'm going to share with you in place, we're going to find ourselves feeling pulled back to where we were. And I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. So waiting for just a couple more people to join us. Feel free to invite your friends, share this live stream with your friends and your network. Hey, Kimberly, what's going on, homegirl? I see you out there living it. I see you living it, girl. Kimberly came to the Greatest Year of Her Life 2018 this year, and she has just been flying all over the world, literally traveling all over the world and really living. So glad to see you here on this live stream. We're going to be talking about the dynamics of self-sabotage. And how I'll start this, I'm going to start it right now, and how I'm going to start it is with a story. So some of you may have heard this story. It's a family who's having Thanksgiving dinner, and if you can imagine, there's a big table, right, with mashed potatoes and gravy and cranberry, all the normal Thanksgiving food that you see, the turkey and the stuffing and all of that stuff, the pumpkin pie and all of that. But what happens is there's this mom, and she's sitting there and with this big, this piece of ham, big chunk of ham that she needs to cut, and then in this huge pan. So as she's sitting there and she's kind of cutting the ends off the ham, her curious 4-year-old little daughter asks, she says, "Mom, why are you cutting the ends off the ham?" And the mom stops dead in her tracks like this. She says, "You know what, sweetheart, I don't know. My mom always did it." So little girl asked Grandma, "Grandma, why did you cut off the ends off the ham?" And the little girl said, well, or not the little girl, but the grandma said, "Well, I always saw my mom do it." So they asked Great Grandma, "Why'd you cut off the ends off the ham?" And Great Grandma said, "Well, because my pan was always too small." So think about that for a moment, right? Great Grandma cuts the ends off the ham because her pan was too small. But Grandma sees Great Grandma cutting the ends off the ham as a kid, and all of a sudden, when she grows up, she remembers Grandma cutting the ends off the ham, or Mom cutting the ends off the ham, so does she. And then she passes that behavior on to Mom, which may have been interrupted by this 4-year-old little girl's curiosity. And the moral of the story is that We all have been installed with values or instilled with values. And what's up, Anna? Hey, Kelly. Are you watching from Mexico? Kelly's my neighbor. She moved to Mexico, which is awesome. So this metaphor of this story of the family that's having dinner, that behavioral trait gets passed on through generations, and that's what happens to us. We're born into your family. I'm not born into your family. You're born into your family. I'm born into my family. We're born into our families, and we can't help but to model the behaviors and the values and the patterns of thinking and the beliefs that we take on in our youth. And so I share this story with you, and it relates to self-sabotaging, because if you have values that have been installed or instilled in you from a young age, and if you're wondering what the hell's a value is simply something that that's important for you to feel or experience in your life. Yeah, Kelly is definitely goal leveling up. She moves from the Portland, Oregon area to Mexico. Awesome. So we take on these traits, these behavioral traits, these value traits from our parents. And a good example of this is my parents were awesome, and they did the best job with the resources they had at the time. And I also remember them really valuing comfort and security, and to the point so much that when it was installed in me growing up, I remember when I left for college, which was just, University of Northern Colorado, is 2.5 hours away from Pueblo. It was one of the hardest things I had to do. And so what happens is, as I'm seeking growth, as an individual, and going to college and starting a career in Denver, Colorado, in the big city, and then eventually starting a business, like that's a lot of growth that's required. Putting yourself into the unknown requires a lot of growth and personal expansion. But here's the thing. If you have a value deeply installed within you of comfort or familiarity or security, like I did growing up, what will happen is, for example, let's say you want to start a business. In my early 20s, my late 20s, started a business, and I still had this value of comfort within me that was pulling me back. And every time that I would say, okay, my business, because if you own a business, if you're a business owner, you know that it forces you to grow. Like, your business doesn't grow unless you grow. And so it forces you to grow and shift and change and evolve and expand. But if you have this underlying behind the scenes value called comfort or security or certainty, that underlying unconscious value is pulling you back because you're going outside of your comfort zone, exerting all of this energy, trying to achieve your goals, but there's that hidden, unconscious, invisible influence called a value that's pulling you back, saying, wait a minute, no, you enjoy comfort, you enjoy familiarity, you need to come back here. And then it'll start if it's strong enough, if that value is strong enough and been ingrained for a long enough time, it will start influencing your behavior, your decisions, and it might start to create some self-sabotaging patterns. So this is a big one. And if you go to gyoil.com, on day one of our 3-day event, we actually spend an entire session. It's called Integrating Internal Conflicts. And I do some laser coaching on stage during that session as well. But that's the session where we take those internal conflicts, where you have this value of growth and expansion, but you also have this value of comfort and security, and they're sort of like opposed, and they're pulling you up, they're sort of like tugging at each other, creating this tension. That's why we self-sabotage. We take 2 steps forward, and all of a sudden that value kicks in, and boom, we take 2 steps back. And then people just get so frustrated because anytime they start to want to achieve their goals, or they start to go after something that's important to them, they find themselves reverting back. And there becomes a point in time when, if they don't know how to go inside and integrate some of those internal conflicts, they just keep doing that same thing over and over again. And this level of frustration, and I get so passionate about this because I lived this for so long. I was so frustrated for so long because I couldn't figure out, and then finally I took some NLP training and discovered that at the core of all of my decisions and behaviors and choices were my values and beliefs. Every unconscious decision and choice and action I was taking was coming from a value or belief or a combination of. So if you find yourself, New Year comes, it's January 1st, and you're like, okay, I got this goal that I want to achieve. And then you start moving toward that goal, right? You gain a little bit of momentum. And like most people, 92% of people will find after a few weeks or a couple weeks, will just slowly start to revert back to the old patterns, to the old ways of operating and the old ways of doing things because it's so comfortable, it's so familiar, and they can do it unconsciously. So it takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of momentum to break free from those chains so that you gain the momentum and the steam that you need to hit your goals by the end of the year. But most people don't. 92% of people, according to statisticbrain.com, won't achieve their goals that they set in the new year. And one of the reasons why, one of the big reasons why, is because of this self-sabotaging mechanism called your values. If your values are out of whack and they're out of conflict, they're definitely going to pull you back. And so one of the sessions that we have, session 4, go to gyOYL.com. Session 4 is called Unwavering Internal Alignment, creating unwavering internal alignment. And that's where we go in and we teach you how to condition new value systems into your psyche, to your mindset, values that align with your goals. And that's the beauty of this alignment work that we do. You come into the event, and over the course of time, we get you clear on your goals and your targets, your mission and your vision. And then we go inside and we start to look at, okay, what are the values and the beliefs that need to align with the mission and the vision so that you are in alignment, so that you have unwavering internal alignment. And that's the key to all of this, is creating that internal alignment, is integrating those internal conflicts, finding out what values do I have. And hopefully as you're listening to me, you're thinking about, oh shit, this is totally resonant. This is totally hitting home for me too. What's up, Nicole? And so just kind of take a look, man, I could see where I have this value of this, but I have this value of this. So consider where you might be self-sabotaging. And then, I considered also coming to Greatest Year of Your Life 2019 in January. It's in Denver, Colorado, and it's January 11th through the 13th. And it's 3 days of badassery. 200 people are going to come, and we're going to rock the world. We've been doing this event since 2011. Started off as a 2-day workshop, vision board workshop, expanded into a half day, and then quickly into a 1-day. And then 2014, it became a full 3-day event. And ever since then, we've been calling it the Greatest Year of Your Life. And since then, it's been impacting more and more people. And it's a really amazing event, not just because of me. It's because of the amazing guest speakers that we have, and also the container that we create together that gives you permission to be powerful, that gives you permission to tap into your greatness, and gives you permission to be you. We're all unique, we're all different, but we live in a world where everybody wants everybody to be familiar. They don't want people to be unpredictable, but a lot of times what happens is, like, who we are as a unique being is a little bit unpredictable, So it gives you permission to totally be you, and to get crazy, to get wacky, to get a little wild, and to get fired up about the new year and your goals so you can go hit them, because it takes a ton of energy. What's up, Stefan? It takes a ton of energy to achieve your goals. And so I'm going to be sharing a lot of videos like this, short 10-minute videos, live videos, with just a nugget, a tidbit, if you will, that hopefully will help you set you up to have the greatest year of your life in 2019. And remember, it starts right now. What's up, Michelle? Michelle says, alignment is everything. Thank you for teaching me a structure for how to live my best life. It is my pleasure, Michelle. Michelle Benedict attended Greatest Year of Your Life 2019, and she's been doing a lot of personal and spiritual development work over the years. And she attended Greatest Year of Your Life 2018, and she's just been continuing, expanding, and opening and cracking open, and becoming her best self, living her best life. So it's fun to watch you fly, Michelle. For those of you who are going to be coming to Greatest Year of Your Life 2019, we can't wait to see you, because we know what's in store for you. We know the transformation that can happen as a result of you stepping in and playing full out. But don't listen to me. Go to gyOYL.com and check out what everyone else is saying about it. Check out what past participants are saying about it, and learn some of the things that you've learned in this video about why are you self-sabotaging, right? Why don't you have a level of motivation that you maybe once had? How do you trigger and access motivation when you need it? Because there's a lot of schools of thought on motivation, and I'm a huge fan of it if you know how to use it to your advantage. If you know how to trigger motivation, if you know how to stay in the energy of being high energy and motivated. So I'm a huge fan of it, because I really have learned over the years of how to trigger it, how to activate that motivation when I need it to achieve my goals. So what's up, Graham? Good to see you, man. Hey, Desiree. Desiree attended Greatest Year of Your Life like 2016 or something like that. And she's a rock star too. You should get to know her. Everybody who comes to the Greatest Year of Your Life tends to be pretty awesome. Like, we have a really phenomenal group of people that attends this event. And one tip that I shared yesterday when I was doing a Facebook Live is that the number one thing that will determine your success or failure of 2019 are the people that you surround yourself with. So if you need to up-level your current peer group, if you need to surround yourself with people who are hungry, encouraging, and empowering like you are, you definitely want to plug yourself into this community because it's growing, it's on fire, it's got some of the most beautiful, loving, heart-centered people, brilliant people, badass people that you could think of, and they all want you to thrive. So go to GYOYL.com, take a look at our agenda, take a look at some of the participants that have come and what they're saying about it. Take a look at the guest speakers. They're going to blow your mind. And these 3 days will definitely change your life if you're looking for some life changes. So that's all for this Facebook Live. Thanks for joining me. And remember to check in, where am I self-sabotaging in the realm of my values? Now, there's other areas that we'll talk about at the event of how you self-sabotage, but that's one of the primary ones, is a values or beliefs conflict. Once you resolve that conflict and integrate those internal conflicts, you develop a level of powerful alignment, and eventually over time, with enough action, with enough energy, with enough momentum, with enough motivation, you become unstoppable. So cheers to the unstoppable. See you soon.